Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Are you a gypsy? I used to be. I was born that way. And I'm not talking about the Roma that they have going through Europe. It seems to be kind of a controversial topic. I'm just talking about people that move around too much. Or do you move a lot? Have you been moving around, searching for the perfect place? I did that for many years. There was always this fantasy that I had that somehow the perfect paradise was going to be over that next horizon, past the next rest stop. It's always just down the road, perpetually, and I never found it. I moved all over this country. I'm not going to go through the list, but I've moved all over the nation, just going from town to town, city to city, setting myself up, with job, apartment, friends, all that stuff. And then I would pick up in a couple years and move. And I just was never happy with the place that I found. I'd always figured I'll find someplace better. I had this ideal in my head of where to live, and it wasn't really real. It didn't exist. I tried to find it. I moved out to California. I moved up to Washington State. I live in Florida. I've done, you name the corner of the country, Northeast, Southwest, you name it. I've done it all. I've moved all over this goddamn country. I've lived in the mountains, I've lived in the desert, I've lived in the city, I've lived by the beach, you name it. All with the intention of just trying to find the right place, a place that I fit in, a place where people got me. I never felt like I fit in anywhere I've ever lived. I just had this dissatisfaction. I hate to burst anybody's bubble, but what I realized, at least for myself, and I believe this is the truth, is that you'll never find the perfect place. You need to stop moving around so much. Now, I'll put a contingency on that. If you've never left your hometown, you might need to move. I don't believe that it's a good idea to have never left. You could return to your hometown for nostalgic reasons, to give back to a community that you feel is underserved, whatever, to reconnect with old friends and family. There's nothing wrong with going back to your hometown, but I believe everybody needs to go through school. When you graduate high school, you either go off to college, you go to the military, or you just go hit the road, go travel around, go experience some shit. Go find out what it's like to live somewhere where you didn't grow up, where you don't have your friends, where the corner store that you remember going to isn't there, where nobody knows who you are. You have to remake yourself, introduce yourself. You get to choose who you want to be in the next town. That doesn't mean that you give up who you are, make up some kind of fake personality. It means that you get to evolve past what other people see you as, where there's two different people in each of us, maybe more, but you have the perception of you and then your projection of you. Who you think you are is what you project, and the perception of you is who your parents think you are, your grandparents, your friends, your employer, who everybody else thinks you are. And when you grow up in your little bubble, in your little town, and I don't care if it's a big city or a small burg, in the side of a mountain, wherever it is, you need to leave, go live somewhere else for a while, experience what that's like, go to a place where people don't really know you, they don't care what high school you went to, that kind of stuff. And grow up. Let go of that persona, of that childhood personality that was attached to you. And the only real way to do that, truly, is to move out of your hometown. So that's when I suggest people to move. But that doesn't mean to perpetually move. I left my hometown unsatisfied, wanting to shed reputations of the past and connections and just to see different streets. And I just felt horribly unfulfilled by living in Washington, D.C. I grew up in the murder capital. It was the 80s. Marion Barry was the mayor, crackhead mayor. It was just the worst shithole on the planet. And I got out with my life. But I never really found what I was looking for. And there's a reason why, and that's what I'm getting to with this video. The reason why you need to stop your perpetual search and stop being a gypsy is because you'll never find that perfect place. All those external factors that you think that make up a good life are not really real. None of that shit really matters is what I mean. All that matters is your outlook. Outlook is everything. How you see the world is so incredibly important. And we each see it differently. People can go through different experiences and come out with different ideas of how that event went down. People can live in different towns and have completely opposite, polar opposite experiences. I hated Washington, D.C. I talk to people that love D.C. It blows my mind. I'm just like, you love D.C.? What? And I talk to people that are my age and lived there when I lived there, when it was the murder capital, when that city was worse than Vietnam. I don't care where you're from, South Bronx, you're from Southside Chicago, Compton. Fuck all your ghettos. You don't know shit about what it's like to be in third world America. DC had the fucking record. It was the pit of hell, the belly of the fucking beast, and I hated it. And I talk to people that love it. They talk about the punk scene. They talk about the music scene, the art scene, the cultural scene. All these various scenes, it goes on and on and on, stuff. The food, there's some of the best restaurants on the planet there. They have all kinds of things that you can go do. I did none of that. I experienced it in a different way. My outlook of that city was just a fucked up shithole. It's because I was a fucked up shithole. Bottom line, you can live anywhere. Stop your search. Go within. You know, there's an old Zen saying, they say, those who don't go within, go without. And what does that mean? It means that people that don't go within themselves and to hash out all the fucking bullshit that messes us up, that makes us see the world unclearly. If we don't get in there and straighten up, clean our room, so to speak, we go without love. We go without joy. We go without being content. Contentment isn't necessarily an exuberance or a happiness. Being content is an important level of stasis that we all need to at least experience sometimes. Stability, I guess, is a better word. I think that contentment for me is almost the opposite of stability. I mean, it's a part of being stable. When you're not content, your whole world is unstable. We need to be able to experience this type of shit, and it comes from going within. And if you don't go within and handle your business, work on all those problems, you'll do like I did, like I used to, on this perpetual search, moving around the country, always giving up friends, always giving up jobs, always giving up places to live. I look back and I realize that any place that I've ever lived, whether it be out west, up north, down south here in Florida, wherever, I could have just stopped. And that's when I got to Florida. I've lived here now for longer than I've ever lived anywhere. I've lived in Florida. I just landed here. I didn't know anybody in Florida. I didn't have family in Florida. I didn't move here for a whole lot of good reasons. It was impulsive. I was living in the ghetto of Los Angeles and was just kind of hearing them helicopters and getting more and more angry. And I said, you know what, fuck this. I'm going somewhere I can afford, somewhere that has palm trees. And I looked on the map and I found Florida was just like, shit. I don't care if it's far, I'm going there. I don't care if I don't know anybody, I'm going there. I'm just going to see what happens. And I've been here now for about almost 20 years. Not quite 20 years. 18 years. And the reason why trust me, I wanted to move. I got here and within 2 years I was ready to bounce. I've been here 18 years. I was ready to bounce after 2. Ready to leave. With middle fingers fucking out the window as I drove off as fast as I could. Fuck this town. Fuck this state. But I realized, like I'm telling you, I'm not running from anything. I didn't leave LA because I was running from anything. LA was great. It was me that was fucked up. You can live anywhere on this planet and be content. You can be anywhere on this planet and thrive. I know guys, now I'm not suggesting this for anybody, but I know guys that are in prison right now, Supermax, federal prison, out in Colorado. They're violent criminals. They're guys doing 100 years. I know people there that are thriving. I mean, they may not say that they love it, that this is the best on earth. I'd rather be here than in Bora Bora or, on a yacht in Tahiti. This is better than anything. They look good. They feel good. They're living a mind, body, and soul lifestyle. They're able to be content and do more than just barely survive. A lot of us out here in the free world are just barely surviving. We always think that paradise is going to be on that next horizon, is somewhere else. The grass is always greener. The next town, some other town is going to be great. We have these dreams and fantasies, and many of us, like I did, chased that shit. I mean, just like a blind dog. I just couldn't stop running for different directions, always thinking that I'd meet cooler people in another town. I'd find better jobs somewhere else. I could have a better apartment if I lived somewhere else. You can do all these things where you're at. Stop running. The gypsy life is not the life that leads to success. Stability leads to success. Daily discipline leads to success. We need to be able to make our bodies and our minds a temple. And when we do that, where we are doesn't matter as much. We become more resourceful. We become better at survival. And we learn how to turn our surroundings into our kingdoms instead of always being this lost king out in the desert searching for a new land to conquer. That gets old. I was born in a school bus. So I was born. My parents didn't have a house. We were homeless. We lived in a bus, a school bus, converted into a mobile home, drive around the country. I had seen 30 states by the time I was 5 years old. That gypsy lifestyle was bred into me. My parents were doing the same thing that I did when I got older. They were just looking for this fantasy. And it doesn't exist out in the real world. What you're looking for in that next town is inside of you. So slow down. Stop all those plans you got to keep moving to the next town. Go sit down in a quiet room and start thinking about all that shit you've been running from. I'll leave it here. What you resist persists. What you run from will chase you till the end of time. There's no way away from it. You have to stop and turn and face it. Thanks for watching.